After many years of the Naruto Storm games, finally rage quitters are being punished. So now when they rage quit from a game, there are gonna be some pretty harsh penalties which we're gonna look into not long from now. The penalty system is a good introduction to Naruto Storm Connections and we're all taking it well and everybody's very happy with the matter. Is it really what it's cut out to be? Yo, what's going on guys, it's your boy Poison Akami, me, myself and I back at it again with another video, and today we are going to be talking about disconnection penalties, the introduction of them in Naruto Storm Connections, the good, the bad, and everything in between, my thoughts on it, and I've even actually spoke with another creator.
Hello.
Hello Goku.
How's it going, Sensei?
I am doing well, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
To sort of come together to come up to a mutual agreement on the implementation of this and how it works. First things first, let's actually take a deep dive and take a look at the intricacies of how the penalties are working in Naruto Storm Connections. So we are here on Bandai's website, and if you go to the patch notes section for Naruto Storm Connections, there is a whole part about disconnection penalties where it literally talks about the brief description of how it works with the trust level. The trust level, by the way, is the green, orange and red faces that you see on everybody's profiles. It basically explain how when you disconnect after so much in ranked matches, the case is that you will get punishments based on restriction time, basically meaning that you will get restriction on how long you can queue for matches, and also you'll get BP reduction. So there's actually a chart right here showing exactly how much of it you have going on. So your trust level icon is in green here. You're perfectly fine if you're in the green. You get no BP reduction, you get no restrictions on time, so no ban time. Now when you hit the orange face, the regular smiley, this is when it gets bad, right? So you get a 30-minute time ban on your first one in the orange, and also you get 100 BP reduction. Now, if you're in the higher ranks, like I'm 30,000 plus BP where I am right now, gaining and losing BP is anywhere between like 80 to like 100 a match. So this is one match's worth of BP right here for us. So this is pretty heavy on the get-go. If you do it again, you get an hour this time, and then once the hour is up, or an hour and 200 BP, once that's up, you can play again. If you do it again, it goes to 6 hours with 500 BP, and then 12 hours with 1000 BP if you continue doing it, and 24 hours and 2000 BP. So that is a whole day, and we haven't even gotten to the red face yet. Moving down to the red face, if you carry on with your misbehavior, you could get 2 whole days of a ban from queuing in online competitive play with a 4000 BP reduction. Do it again, you get another 2 days on top with a 6000 BP reduction. And then lastly, you can get a grand total of 72 hours. That is 3 whole days of no playing online with 10,000 BP taken. That is almost a third of my current BP that I have in the game. That's insane. However, I actually think it's a very suitable punishment for those that rage quit. I don't think anybody would be stupid enough to rage quit this much. I mean, to get to the 72-hour mark means that you'd have to go through each of these times. So you'd have to go for a 30-minute ban, and then an hour ban, so that's an hour and 30 minutes, and then 6 hours, so that's 7 hours and 30 minutes, and then 12 added on, plus 24, plus 48 hours. You know, like you're adding all this over and over. Like, you're doing several days worth before you hit here. Like, you're doing almost like over like half a week or so before you hit the 72-hour ban. It's pretty crazy if you ask me. But I do think this is a really good change, and this is actually what Storm has been needing ever since we've been asking for it in like Storm 3 or Revolution. I'm just really happy that we actually have it now though. Now, the only beef that I have with this at the moment right now in this part of the video is actually you get 4 warnings before you even get into this territory of having BP reductions and timeout bans. Looking here on Pleiko's thing, so Pleiko actually received this notification only due to him leaving once he actually agreed to meet with a player and they were both in the lobby where they could see each other's identities. He left during that screen before either of them could ready up. Now, because he did this, it says that you were caught disconnecting from a match. My main issue with this part so far is that this bit at the bottom where it says warnings left until penalty 4. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a fan that there is 4 warnings. I don't think people should need 4 warnings. Now, I understand it for those that have like wobbly internet connections or like unstable internet connection, and it is mainly for those people. Maybe that's why they made it that many. But on the Bandai website, it literally does tell you that if you keep getting disconnected unintentionally while playing, please check the status of your internet connection. It does also say somewhere else that you need to make sure you have stable internet before playing online, just for like the overall integrity and, you know, the polite manners of playing online video games with other people around the world, which I think makes sense. Like, you should make sure you have good stable internet before playing online. It's really inconsiderate and selfish. If you know you have bad internet, but yet you try to play online, it's just making it bad for everybody. So honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I think once you get this initial first window of warning, this should cut down to at least like 2 or 1 more warning. 1 more or 2 more warnings, I'd say. So then you'd have a maximum of like 3 altogether. Because now he's got another 4 on top of this, so rage quitters will be like, huh, that's fine, I get 4 free rage quits after this one. I'm golden. So people are still gonna disconnect there. But obviously this will reduce the amount of rage quits overall, of course. Now, let's circle back to a thing that I had mentioned. So Playco obviously was upset because he had received that warning due to him optionally disconnecting that match before it had started in the menu. So what he had done is that he had clicked yes on the NA opponent, or whoever the opponent is that he clicked yes on. They were both on the screen where they could see each other's faces and everything. Playco looked at the guy, he looked at the team and thought, nah, I don't want to play that, and then he decided to leave, thus CC2 giving him that warning of saying, hey, do this 4 more times, you're gonna get punished even further. Now this is where it's conflicting. So at first I was actually agreeing with Playco and thought, yeah, that would kind of suck, because like, if I were to go in there and saw that maybe a modder is in there, or maybe somebody, or there's a team that I don't want to go against, maybe like, you know, a Kaguya that I don't want to go against, or maybe Hanzo or something meta-esque that I don't really enjoy playing against, and I just feel, and I don't really feel like playing against it, I would have also liked to have left without any repercussions too. However, the format that Storm is currently taking with this is actually the same as other fighting games, and another fighting game I'm going to use as an example is Tekken 8. In Tekken 8, when you queue for ranked, you are in the waiting lobby, and then as soon as you find somebody, it literally tells you where the player is from and what the connection is like between you. Now Tekken is a little bit more advanced, and it actually tells you if it's a Wi-Fi or an Ethernet cable player based on the icon of the connectivity. Absolutely amazing. But as you can see here, I chose no, and I didn't get any warnings or anything. It just put me back into the training range with my lovely Nina, and I kept practicing combos until it found me the next person. Now when it found me the next person, I hit yes, my opponent hit yes, and thus you can see us both there in the loading screen ready to do our fight in Tekken.
Get ready for the next battle.
Now basically this format of like disconnection penalties is actually exactly how Storm Connections is dealing with it. It is showing you what region the player is from and the connection that you have with that player, and then you decide from there whether you want to fight them the same way Tekken does it. Now obviously I haven't risked doing this in Tekken because I actually enjoy ranking up. I mean, I'm in the blue ranks, I think, you know, I don't want to really sabotage that, but if I decided to accept an opponent and then decide to quit in the loading screen when I see that my opponent has a character I don't like say that I struggle against Leroy, for example, and my opponent picks Leroy, and I think, oh no, I don't really want to fight a Leroy right now. If I decided to quit then, I'm pretty sure I would actually get a disconnection penalty, maybe like a timeout ban, or whatever Tekken's disconnection penalties are. I'm actually not sure what they are, I didn't really look into it. I would also expect Tekken to punish me if I left during the loading screen once I see my opponent's character, because the fact that I had already agreed and then decided to back out last minute just because I saw something I didn't like isn't actually fair on the other player. The thing is with ranked is that when you are queuing ranked, you gotta accept that you are playing to the best of your ability versus somebody else playing to the best of their ability. Meaning that you're gonna see a lot of meta-esque things, OP characters, literally the best of the best that that game has to offer. Now for Storm Connections, that is true, but also there are some other things to consider. That is a bit of an issue. See, Storm Connections isn't perfect, and there are those that are able to mod the game with these like USB mods, and they can literally mod in Nanashi and Mers to be playable online. They can mod in characters that can literally button lock you if they awaken or some stupid thing like that. It gets pretty wild. So I'm not gonna lie, if I came across a modder and they were modding in the game and I see them in the menu, I would also want to quit and not get punished for it. But that's what happened. If I came across like a Nanashi modder that had the abilities to button lock my buttons online and I decided to leave, they wouldn't be punished, I would be, because I left when I saw their identity. So the good thing is that I actually spoke to Globku about this yesterday in my live stream. Now Globku and I were actually talking about this matter because, like I said earlier, I was on the same page as Playco in terms of agreeing with him on, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be getting punished if we leave when seeing the character's identity. But literally, like I said earlier, all Storm Connections is doing is following other games in terms of how disconnection penalties work and how matching up in a competitive setting works. After speaking to Globku and after hearing his resolutions or ideas about the whole matter, it actually made me feel a lot more comfortable.
The number one thing I disagree with is that you shouldn't get penalized for leaving the lobby, because I think you should. I think you should get the disconnect penalty if you leave the lobby after accepting the match.
Oh,
the reasoning for that is pretty simple. I love that they gave you that extra menu showing just the connection and the region of the player. Those two pieces of information are enough for you to accept the match or not. Because if you are waiting to see what team do they play, what rank they are, you are just looking for excuses to dodge someone in a queue, right?
That is true, yeah, that is true.
So I think, like, as soon as you press yes on that screen, yeah, you're locked in. You should be locked in. You shouldn't be able to back out at that point. Now, there is an issue that Playco reported, which is, what if both players accept and then you just sit there without pressing ready? I mean, okay, yes. You should be able to not, like, okay, if I press ready and my opponent doesn't and he's just sitting there waiting for me to quit, okay, yeah, maybe they should get penalized. Maybe they should get, like, a timer or something to press ready as well.
Yeah.
So that I agree with Playco. But the thing about, like, oh no, I joined the lobby and then I backed out, like, okay, no, you should get penalized for that. You should actually, you got penalized because the opponent didn't ready up. Okay, so, like, that's lame. But I think that's a different issue. You have a follow button, right? After you play someone in a match, you should also have a block button. Like, okay, just don't run into this player again.
Oh, do you know what? That, I think what you just said there is actually probably the most ideal way to solve that. If there was... Because, yeah, CC2 pride themselves on making it kind of like their own social media of this whole following and checking up other players' stats and stuff. So if they had a block button, oh yeah, that'd be way better. Yeah. Yes, he did actually mention a block button. Now, like I said, CC2 is actually really heavy on enjoying their usage of, like, their new social media of the following button and looking at people's profiles and extending profiles and looking at everybody's stats now. I actually just think it's a great idea that there might be a block button. However, we did also, while talking about the block button, come across the issue of players would then just block people they don't really feel like fighting, aka certain teams. So it would just be another cop-out way to avoid players.
Yeah, I'm sure the block button will also just be used to dodge players anyway, but
probably, yeah.
That's a community issue.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as someone stops having opponents, maybe they'll think twice about blocking everyone.
That's true, yeah, they'll probably give in and unblock people, but, I mean, that's the thing, because a lot of players are going to want to do it because, you know, people will complain about spammers and certain playstyles that they just don't know how to get over, so people, I mean, a lot of the community is probably, I'm assuming, going to want to be able to leave once they see the player's identity because of that.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this player spams Minato Rasengan all the time, I can't get over it, so they're gonna want to not fight that player anymore in ranked. So
look guys, if I see a Kaguya, I also don't want to play, but but like, I accepted the match, so that's now my fate, you know.
True.
And if, like, oh, everyone is playing Kaguya, then maybe I don't want to play Storm. You know, maybe my issue is with the game.
But when I was speaking with Globku, I did come to the realization, this one key important thing that I've actually been saying during my live streams since the other patches on this game.
The game.
Yeah, I mean,
until that gets fixed.
I have this, like, little internal war with myself about the game all the time when I play. Like, I'm tired of, like, seeing the same old meta supports of, like, Shikamaru, Karin, Tamari, Kakashi, and you just see those four supports, like, all the time in my ranked games. And, like, I'm always like, oh, I'm getting tired of this. And my answer is just to not play ranked. I'll just play customs, or I'll play with friends and, like, I won't see it anymore. So, like, again, it is reflected on, like, that whole community side, is either get good enough to beat it or just don't play against it. That's basically what I've had to do for myself. That's kind of how it is,
Yeah,
I suppose.
I do think like giving players the power to dodge based on connection. Like I don't want to play a laggy match.
Oh, 100%,
So like,
yeah.
okay, yeah, that's perfect.
Yes, when I choose to queue unranked, I have to accept that the opponents I'm going against may be using the most overpowered things possible. That's just the nature of the game. That is the nature of any game. Any game you play, whether it be Tekken, they're going to use the best characters that they can think. Whoever's like F tier in Tekken, you're not really going to see in ranked matches as often as you would some of the best characters. Same for Overwatch. The best team comps are always going to be used. I use this example on stream that in Season 1 Overwatch 2, D.Va and Zarya were used the most, but Zarya was the counter to D.Va, so literally every team comp consisted of Zarya as their main tank. It was very repetitive, very boring, but hey, that's just how it went. Eventually the developers actually buffed other tanks, so now you see Zarya less and you see more of a variety, which is always nice to see. A lot of us act the way we do in terms of how we match up with people or how we sort of get treated in fights because we don't like what we're going against in Storm, right? There's a lot of characters that you can just use as support that can literally carry a certain moment or can act as a substitution. There's a lot of moments in the game where supports or certain jutsus can literally carry someone, and it kind of feels like a cop-out. I have said this in other Storm games, and I'll say this in this Storm game too, because it is possible. Everything has a weakness, everything can be beaten. Even with some great fundamentals, you can overcome some really powerful meta moments. I've demonstrated it on my channel multiple times. Just because it feels like an uphill battle that you're going in with your PTS Sakura and Utakata and Darui team versus whatever the meta is, obviously it's going to be an uphill battle, but hey, if you beat it, that makes you look even better. You shouldn't have to rage quit or have to run away from that player because they're using that. Honestly, the answer is, if you don't want to play against anything like that, don't play ranked. There is casual matches for a reason, there is custom matchmaking for a reason, and you can now invite your friends for those reasons. You have 3 other options to take other than playing ranked and being suspected to meta play. And this is something that I've been saying since last patch is, I didn't really want to go against Hanzo, DMS Kakashi support, Tamari support, Shikamaru support. I didn't want to go against any of that. So my answer was, okay, I'm just going to make custom lobbies and play with people who I know won't actually do that all the time versus me. And I have fun. My overall thoughts and features to conclude this video is that I actually really do like the implementation of this new feature of Disconnection Penalties. I think it's fantastic. I actually think they need to shorten the amount of warnings that there are. I think 4 is way too generous, so we're still going to be seeing some rage quits, of course. But in terms of being disconnected once you see the player's identity, that is actually normal in traditional modern game usage. Like, if you leave once seeing players' identities and you leave during that time, it's understandable that you will get punished. Now, in terms of, oh, I don't want to play against a broken thing, or yeah, but Poison, what about the broken thing that I'm going against? The thing is, that's up to the developers. That is a developer issue. Obviously, Storm being balanced has been a reoccurring issue across Storm for many, many years, but CC2 is actually showing that they're trying their best to balance this game, and honestly, you cannot knock them for the effort that they've made so far. I think it's been fantastic. Now, obviously, there's still issues with like people bringing in mods to ranked matches and stuff, and you know, some real broken stuff happening, but that is up to the developers to find ways to fix it and to make the online experience more better for us. Anyways, I just want to end this video by saying thank you to Globku for actually coming on my stream and talking to me about this. It actually helped me, discussing things actually helped me see like a different perspective on the matter, and it was very useful, and that definitely changed the direction that this video is going to go in. And that would be it for today. Let me know your thoughts and let me know your opinions on the disconnection penalties and everything down in the comment section below. Obviously, you guys have important views and opinions as well, and I do enjoy looking at them as well. As always, it's been your boy Poison Nakami. Janne.